first in sanctions, second in gas, fourth in oil. This country was armed by the CIA, trained by Israel, now fights both with the world's largest proxy network. It lost 2 million people in a war it never officially joined, threw a billion-dollar party while its people starved, and after 2,500 years, it's playing the deadliest game of chess on Earth. Two empires, Britain and Russia, sat at a table in secret. No armies, no gunfire, just a map and a pen. They carved Iran into zones of influence. The north to Russia, the south to Britain, the center declared neutral, but in truth controlled by both. The Qajar kings signed without protest. Weak, corrupt, fought. Oil was found in Persia, the first big oil field in the Middle East. Britain created the Anglo-Persian Oil Company, today's BP. For every pound Britain made, Iran got only pennies. Oil turned Iran into the prize of the great game. The country itself stayed poor. Bad roads, no schools, no real army. In World War I, Iran declared neutrality, but it did not matter. Russia came from the north, Britain from the south, the Ottomans from the west. Villages burned, famine spread. Up to 2 million Iranians died in a war they never joined. Out of chaos came one man, Reza Khan, a Cossack officer. He marched into Tehran without resistance. By 1925, he ended the Qajar dynasty and made himself Reza Shah Pahlavi. He wanted to modernize. Roads, railways, schools, no more tribal chiefs. He banned the veil, forced Western clothing, and cut clerics' power. He even changed the country's name from Persia to Iran. But Reza Shah ruled with iron. Opposition was crushed. And then he looked to Germany. By the late 1930s, German engineers, factories, and influence filled Iran. When World War II started, Britain and the Soviet Union got nervous. They feared Iran might side with Germany, giving it oil and a strategic route. In 1941, they invaded. Reza Shah was forced to abdicate. His son, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, became the new Shah. By 1947, Britain was making 40 million pounds from Iranian oil. Iran's share? Less than 7 million pounds. Workers lived in slums called Paper City, while the British dined in luxury. In 1951, one man rose, Mohammad Mossadegh. He nationalized the oil. For the first time, oil belonged to Iran. Crowds cheered. Britain and America panicked. In 1953, the CIA and MI6 launched Operation Ajax. They paid mobs, bribed generals, and toppled Mossadegh. The Shah returned to power, not by his people, but by foreign hands. To protect his throne, the Shah built SAVAK, a secret police trained by the CIA and Mossad. Phones tapped, doors kicked in at night, torture chambers in the basement. Fear became daily life. But to the West, the Shah was a golden ally. Modern, loyal, anti-Soviet. In 1963, he launched the White Revolution. Land reform, women's right to vote, schools for villages. The West praised him, but clerics and conservatives saw it as an attack on Islam. One cleric's voice rose louder than all, Ruhollah Khomeini. He called the Shah America's servant. Protests exploded. Hundreds were killed. Khomeini was exiled, but his voice only grew stronger on cassette tapes smuggled back into Iran. In 1971, the Shah threw the world's biggest party, the 2,500-year celebration of the Persian Empire. Silk tents, French chefs, crystal champagne. It cost up to $2 billion in today's money. While many Iranians lived in poverty with no water or electricity, the party became a symbol. The Shah cared for image, not people. By the late 1970s, the cracks were wide open. Inflation, joblessness, corruption, and the hated SAVAK. Khomeini's tapes united clerics, students, workers, and the poor. And then came Black Friday. Protesters filled Tehran. The army opened fire. Hundreds killed. There was no going back. The Shah fled. Millions welcomed Khomeini back from exile. Within weeks, the monarchy was gone. Iran became the Islamic Republic. But the revolution didn't bring peace. Uprisings spread in Kurdistan, Khuzestan, Turkmen lands. The new regime answered with bullets. Then came November 1979. Students stormed the U.S. Embassy. 52 Americans held hostage for 444 days. For Khomeini, it was victory. Iran had stood up to the world's superpower. For moderates, it was the end. The revolution now belonged fully to the clerics. In 1980, Iraq invaded. Saddam Hussein thought Iran was weak. Instead, the war lasted 8 years. Cities bombed. Chemical weapons. Teenagers with plastic keys to heaven sent across minefields. Nearly 1 million dead. Borders unchanged. But one group became powerful. The IRGC. Revolutionary Guards. They started as guardians of the revolution. By the end of the war, they were a state within a state. Alongside the Revolutionary Guards, another power was growing. Iran's proxies. Armed groups outside Iran. Different countries, different jobs, but all working for Tehran. These proxies grew strong across the Middle East. But let's step back, because while Iran expanded abroad, at home, something huge was about to happen. Khomeini died. Tens of millions flooded Tehran for his funeral. The constitution was changed overnight to make Ali Khamenei the new supreme leader. Beside him rose Rafsanjani as president, promising to rebuild after war. In the 1990s, Iran balanced between pragmatists, reformists, and hardliners. In 1997, people voted for Mohammad Khatami, a reformist. Hope filled the streets. But the system pushed back. Newspapers closed. Student protests crushed. The message was clear. The system could bend, but never break. 2009. Millions shouted, "Where is my vote?" after Ahmadinejad's election. It became the Green Movement. The regime answered with bullets. Hope turned into fear and silence. Sanctions grew, the rial collapsed, life became harder. Iran kept pushing its nuclear program. In 2015, a nuclear deal brought short relief. But in 2018, the US pulled out. Sanctions returned harder than ever. Protests broke out. Banks and streets burned. The state answered with force. In 2022, 22-year-old Mahsa Amini was arrested by morality police for not wearing hijab. She died in hospital in strange circumstances. Woman, life, freedom filled Iran's streets. Women burned hijabs. Crowds faced bullets. It was the biggest uprising since the revolution. In 2025, Israel struck deep inside Iran's nuclear sites: Natanz, Fordo, Isfahan. Iran answered with waves of missiles and drones. For 12 days, the Middle East stood on the edge of world war. When the smoke cleared, both sides claimed victory. But the lesson was clear. The next time may not end in 12 days. Well, if you made it this far, you're officially my favorite viewer. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment.